Hey there, Jed Coburnus here from jedcoburnus.com. This is Talk Therapy, where I just talk out loud and get rid of my ego and just break the old habits of, talking myself out of being and living my truth. And here it is, where really the first 10 minutes is me versus my ego. The second 10 minutes is me with my ego, and the third 10 minutes is mostly always just me talking. So, today, I haven't done this since, I think it was last Thursday, and here we go. So it might be a little choppy, it might be a little, I just need to talk out loud. I have no idea what I'm talking about today, and that's okay, because I'm just talking out loud. I'm just thinking out loud, really. It's funny talking out loud. It's all I do is talk, but I'm thinking out loud. I'm just getting rid of all of this, whatever it be, right? Whatever is going on in the world, in my world, in my head, I'm just showing the universe, showing God that I am ready for the next step. I am ready. That's what I think a lot of this means, and what a lot of this is. A lot of what quote-unquote this is. But I don't know, and I love that I don't know what's going on, and, it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. And for me to expect anybody to listen to this for 30 minutes, I don't, right? I don't expect anybody to listen to anything for 30 minutes. I just know that I need all of this, all of 30 minutes to get this done. And this is what I do. So if you want to talk about what I do, or if you want to talk about what you want to do in life, why not, right? Why not? I'm going to throw my site and my newsletter out there. It's jedcoburnus.com. And you can head to, scroll down, and you'll see coaching newsletter. Put your name and email in there. And I'll see you on the other side to make your visions and dreams and goals become reality. So there it is, right away. I just said it, just got it, right in there. So this is just a bunch of randomness, right? Just a bunch of randomness. And I think that that's okay. I think some days that, for me, I talk about just everything and anything, and having an agenda is fine. I think sometimes not having an agenda is better. I think just being is a big deal. And yeah, there's just so much to what I'm doing every day. Is it just being consistent, right? Gary Vaynerchuk, I checked him out again last weekend as I'm reading his book, and the dude's got it figured out. He says living in the dirt, playing in the dirt, being in the dirt keeps your head in the clouds, right? If your head and you always wanted to play in the clouds, well, that doesn't make any sense, because you got to do the work. You actually got to do the work. And I think a lot of times for me, I just right there's my ego, because I didn't know what to say right there. I don't know. A lot of times for me, I just think that every day I'm one step closer, especially when I'm working for my truth, right? Especially when I'm working from my truth and my center. I'm just one step closer to myself. Which is nuts, because I think I've always been, in what I've been doing, what I've been seeing and feeling, and all of that fun stuff. But it just depends. It just depends what's going on in life. It just depends. I don't even know where I'm going with any of this today. I could just call this one, I know why. Man, I'm dumb. I can feel exactly why. And it's worth going back. the Adderall. I forgot to take my Adderall. Which happens once a week, but I'm trying to really minimize that to 0 times a week. You know, like it's all about the interruption and patterns, because before I used to take both of my children, both kids to daycare. So then I'd wake up, I'd get there, I'd get myself ready, I'd give myself some breakfast, get them some breakfast, which usually entails, you know, like a peanut butter bread or whatever it be, but it was always milk with a vitamin on it sitting on top, and then the vitamins were sitting in the same cupboard as my Adderall. So then at that time, I would grab the Adderall and I would grab right there is my ego going, don't say the wrong stuff. I'd grab the Adderall and I'd grab the vitamins, but since I don't do that anymore, that pattern has interrupted. Now, should my mind just know to take my Adderall every morning? Absolutely. But it's in a cupboard, so maybe I put it somewhere where I can see it every day. Or I just get a pill box, right? Get one of those pill boxes where I just sit there, or that it just tells me what day I take it or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I do that. But it's crazy because I forget. Like I absolutely need to do that, but I forget. But I can tell today's going to be just a little bit of a struggle to get 30 minutes and talking out loud and thinking out loud, but that's okay. I'm going to persevere. I'm going to keep pushing through, because that's just, you know, I mean, that's how it works. That's what you do. That's, you know, that's it's just one of those things where, you know, it has value, you know, it helps, but you for some reason, you got to just keep doing it, right? You just got to keep doing it. You just got to keep pushing through. You just got to keep doing what you got to do and record and keep going. Like, it's hard some days. It's really hard some days. But what does that mean? You just got to persevere. I don't know. And I love that I don't know what's happening. But there will be light. There is light at the end of the tunnel. There is light. You just got to believe it. You just got to do it. Keep on, right? Some days it's hard. Some days it's easy. Some days you have guidance. Some days you don't. But really, if you look within, you always have guidance. You always have guidance. I always ask myself every day, what value can I bring to the world today? And if I have an answer, awesome. If I don't, I just ask myself again, like in a different way. In what way can I help somebody today? And that instantly frees my mind of, what am I going to do today? Because I most days of the week, I have no idea what I'm going to do. That's why I start my day with intentions. I write my intentions. This morning I wrote, I intend to be creative, because I'm really finding out in my mind and in my body that sooner than later sooner than later the workouts of the day need to be on my blog. Like 365 of them. They need to be just done. Now, why is that relevant? Why is that even coming to me? Why does that need to be done? I don't know. And I love that I don't know. But what I do know is I can just feel it in my body that those posts just need to be done. They just need to get up there, and they need to be all in. Because really, when it comes down to it, I think it's been longer than 365 days. And that's what I'm calling it, the 365-day approach. That's my approach. The approach is, you just try every day. Sundays, Saturdays, whatever your off days are, like your quote-unquote weekend, you can pick one of those as your rest day. But the rest of the days, you're going to try some kind of movement. You're going to try some kind of pattern interruption to get your body moving. And that's really what it comes down to. Like, you can do this once a week. You can do this 6 times a week. But commit yourself to 1 year. Commit yourself to 365 days. And that's what you do. And then the process past that is to reverse engineer it. Is to think of yourself already at that point, right? Think of yourself already at that point a year from now. And that's how you operate. That's where you come from. That's what you do. Is just keep yourself moving. Because that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take for you to find yourself and stay true to yourself and stay committed. Because eventually, you're not going to have the willpower to keep going. And what's going to keep you going? What's going to keep you going is the ability to move, is to the ability to see yourself a year from now, is to keep your body and your mind in alignment of each other. Because when it comes down to doing it or not, you're going to choose not to if you don't like it or love the process. You're just going to choose, right? Like, that's just how it's going to work. Because why would we keep doing something that we don't want to do? That's just truth right there. If we don't like to do something, we're not going to do it. Unless there are external sources telling us that we have to, right? Like if somebody made you do something, like if you're a prisoner, like then you kind of have to do it. But we're not prisoners of anything. Generally, we're not prisoners. And this is me talking to myself. Like, I'm not a prisoner. I am free. I'm living in the free world. How am I not free every day? I am free every day. And that's how it works. For anybody to say that they have to do something, you get to do something. And this is my own stuff. This is me talking to myself too. Not outside of any of this. It's just me talking to me. And what does that look like? And what is that? Like, I'm passing by these houses. What's really funny to me is it just hit me. A house is a house. It's just a dwelling, right? It's your house that you go into. No matter the size, no matter how nice the stuff that's in the inside. But the house is the foundation. It is your covering, right? Like 100 years ago, a house was still a house, right? It's still an area that you went into to take shelter, to sleep in, to grow in, to worship in. I mean, like, that's it. A house is simply just a house. It doesn't have to be much more than that. You could live in a tree because that's your house. You could live under a tree because that's your house. I mean, that's for me. Like, I'm just realizing that. It doesn't matter what house you live in. What's the purpose of a house? A purpose of a house or an apartment, of whatever you want to call it, is to take cover, is to feel safe, is to go to a place of refuge, it is it is your place of just sitting and being and you know, of just complete bliss, if you want it to be. It can also be a place of distraction. It could also be a place of negativity. It could also be a place of lack. But you create all of that. And you make it happen. So, what's really funny about all this is that we have so much power within our own minds and bodies that I don't even think we have the capability to realize that. Most of us don't have the capability to realize that. I am starting to have the capability to realize how much power we have in our own minds and our own bodies. And it's nuts. Like, we can heal ourselves because that is what we're capable of doing. Isn't that crazy to think that we can heal ourselves? And now I'm sounding crazy. Now I get that. To some people, to most people, whatever, I sound nuts. But it doesn't matter to me. I'm talking within my own truth, in my own center. And my beliefs are what they are. Nobody can tell me my beliefs. I choose my beliefs. So when it comes down to loving and living and understanding, then that's how it works. That's just what I do. Love it, live it, and understand it. So, moving around, keep going. That's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to keep moving around. I'm going to keep, listening to my heart, listening to my... it's funny because this house, right? We want our house to sell. And I think that we're afraid to drop the price even more because it's like, oh no, then we won't obviously, we won't take as much home or whatever, right? Like, but the longer we wait to get to where my heart is telling us that we need to be, the longer that we suffer. That's really what's going to happen here. The longer we wait to get to where, not necessarily get, but to move to where we're meant to be, the longer we're going to suffer. And that's what I believe. Like, I don't know. I don't know, and I love that I don't know. But to drop the price again, would that be too much? I don't know, and I love that I don't know. But I think my heart tells me we're right where we need to be at $239, and that's where we're probably going to sell the house at. But it's so funny that we're afraid, like, oh my gosh, we just need the house to sell so we can move, but we do, right? Like, it's getting to the point where the payment of this house just is almost too much. And I say almost because we can make it, but it's barely. So when it comes down to the logistics, we're getting to the wire, right? And when push comes to shove, that's when everything starts to happen. Like, if you ever realize the pattern of that, when push comes to shove, when you have to, like, when it's do or die, like, that's when it happens. But when it comes from a place of inspiration versus a place of desperation, like, that's why I think I'm talking about this right now, because if we would drop the price, it would come from a place of desperation, and that is not the way to do it. That is not the way to do, anything if you have it in your control not to. And I think that's the place that's why I firmly believe that we stay at $239, because that is a place of inspiration instead of desperation. And you just have to believe that it will sell. I believe that it will sell very, very quick now. Very quick. Not because it has to. Because that's the plan. That's the plan that was set out for us. That's truly what was supposed to happen. And just going through the motions of that feels awesome. Just going through the motions of what that feels like is a big deal. I think that sometimes we don't even realize what's happening. Sometimes we think one thing and it's actually sabotaging another. And I think that's where I'm at with this house. Like, I'm thinking, man, should we drop it another 10 grand so that we can just sell the house right away? But that sabotages my thoughts of belief within myself, within the ability, right? So, what does that mean? That means that we can only measure what we're going to lose, not what we're going to gain. So the longer I sit here and I think that, oh man, we should drop the price and another 10 grand and then it'll sell right away, that's only sabotaging what's being laid out. Like, that's just me rushing something to make something happen. And that's my common pattern. Because we don't really want to go backwards. Nobody wants to go backwards. You always take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And that's a big deal for me. That one hit me hard. That one's Larry Hochman right there. Today's truth is crazy hard, hitting home crazy hard today. I don't know, and I love that I don't know what any of this means. It's kind of nuts. And I think what I really need is a good solid workout. Like a good solid workout, and that will just take my energy and just skyrocket it. Yep, that's what I need. That's what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm at 22 minutes, 35 seconds, and what's crazy is it feels like an eternity today. There's some days where I can get all the way to 30 and feel like nothing, but today is one of those days where I just feels like I'm not doing anything, and that's okay. Inspiration, creativity, loving, and that's, I don't know, those are 3 words that come to mind, but I don't have much to talk about today, which is fine. I probably have a whole bunch to talk about today. I'm just probably in fear of talking about it. Like how much I want to move to Roseau and how much, but what's that? Like, want is in lack, right? So by not moving to the Roseau, I'm in lack, right? So in lack of what? What is it that I'm lacking when I say I want to move to Roseau? What does that mean? I don't know. I just think that in Roseau, we have support. When I leave the house, it doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean that, Jessica's left home, there's nobody around. Not that that's the way it is now, but it just is. We just know, right? You just know that that's the path. You don't know, and I love that I don't know why, but I just know. That's the path. And what does that mean? I don't know. And I love that I don't know. And I'll keep saying that 1,000 times over. As soon as you think you got something figured out, you figure out that you don't. If anybody, this one to me, nobody will listen to. This one right here, this talk therapy, I feel like nobody will listen to. But I could be 100% wrong, because this is probably the most truth that I've had within these talk therapies. I don't know, maybe I haven't, but this one has no relevance to much, but it might have relevance to everything. The other thing I realized is that going viral, right? I would say that's a big deal to me, because going viral means that a lot of people have attention onto whatever I'm doing, which is awesome. Watching the show called, what was that, last night with Steve Harvey, Little Big Shots, right? That's what it was. And the one kid was a rapper, right? He was rapping, and he was doing good. Like, he's pretty good. But he's like, Steve Harvey asked him, what are you hoping to do with this? And he said, what did he say? Grow up and be a big star like Michael Jackson. I think that's pretty close to what he was saying. And that's awesome, right? Be a big star. And do that. At first I was like, man, you don't want to be famous. You don't want to be, but maybe that's what he was meant to do. And maybe that's what I'm meant to do. I just need to get over my fear of being famous, of being somebody who can reach a lot of people. And I think that's how it works. I think that's what we do, is we need to actually get over the fear of fame. Because all the news and all the society and all the reporting does is shows you the bad part of being famous. Even if you were almost famous, and doing it for the right reasons, not necessarily right or wrong reasons, but what are the reasons why I want people to see my stuff? Because they might actually find that pattern of thinking and the way I do it works for them. Awesome. That's what I hope to do. That is what I hope to do. Because at the end of the day, you just don't know when your time is going to be up. You only get one shot, right? You only get one shot at this life. And I'm talking to myself right now. You only get one shot at this life. And why waste it being in this state of want or lack? So on Friday I have an interview. Well, I haven't even set it up yet. I got to email and set it up. But on Friday I have an interview. And I'm like, oh man, how do I get off of work within that week to go for an interview? But I think that it doesn't matter, right? Like, it's not getting out of work. It's like, do I be honest? Do I not be honest? It's an appointment, right? So I can say it's an appointment. But it's 6 hours north of here. What does that mean? Kind of nuts. So there it is. I got to almost 30 minutes here. Got a minute left to just completely stay in this flow. See, like, it took me all of probably 25 minutes to get into my flow, to get into my truth, my center. But that's okay. Some days are good. Some days are not, and that's how it works. Today would be one of those days where it's not, right? So at the beginning I said, get on my newsletter. If you're catching this at the end, JedCorbinus.com/newsletter. I send out daily messages about everything, about what's going on, about how to be healthy, tips, hints, and tricks. That's what I do. So as always, you're willing to change from the neck up, you will change from the neck down. I believe in you. Now it's your turn to start believing in yourself. Stay safe out there. Be blessed. Bye for now.